يثبت الله الذين آمنوا بالقول الثابت في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة.
I said, O Messenger of Allah, I slapped her. Should I not free her? Let me free her now. Let me make up for this bad action. Prophet ﷺ didn't say free her. Prophet ﷺ said, bring her to me. Bring your slave girl, bring her to me. So she came. So the Prophet ﷺ called her. And she came in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ. Did the Prophet ﷺ, what do you think was the next thing that the Prophet ﷺ said to her? What do you think? She's been slapped, she's been oppressed. Muawiyah wants to free her, but the Prophet ﷺ said, no, bring her to me first. Did the Prophet ﷺ say, do you believe in Allah? Did the Prophet ﷺ say that, are you a Muslim? The Prophet ﷺ asked her, Ayn Allah? Where is Allah? She said, Huwa fis sama. He's in the heavens. He said, who am I? She said, you are the messenger of Allah. So he asked the two questions. Who was the one who asked this question? Where is Allah? Who was the one? The Prophet ﷺ. Where is this hadith narrated? In Sahih Muslim. And then he asked her, who am I? What did she say? The Messenger of Allah. What did he say next? He said, اعتقها فإنها مؤمنة. Free her, for indeed she is a believer.
Al Kawthari, Imam Al Kawthari, I grabbed his commentary on a book called السيف الثقيل, a book by Taqiyuddin as-Subki. وَلِأَنَّ الْحَدِيثَ فِيهِ اضْطِرَابٌ سَنَدًا وَمَتْنًا. And because the hadith has inconsistency in the chain and in the text. رَغْمَ تَصْحِيحِ الذَّهَبِي, despite al-Dhahabi authenticating this hadith. Al-Dhahabi, this one is problematic. Al-Dhahabi, he is knowledgeable in the field of hadith, and he is knowledgeable about the biographies of the men, like the scholars and the narrators of the hadiths. But he is a mushabbih, as proven by such things as his book called Kitabul Ulu, the Book of Highness. If you looked in there, you probably would close it right back and say, uff. Despite al-Dhahabi's authentication of the hadith. Wa tahweelihi, and despite his fear-mongering, his tahweel. Now, I didn't see al-Dhahabi's commentary on this hadith, so that I know exactly what Al-Kawthari means by tahweeluhu. Tahweel, not ta'weel, tahweel. From the word hawl. Hawl means like a horror or a fright, something scary. So tahweel is like to make something scary. I don't know, what did he say? Inshallah, maybe sometime we'll find out. Al-Kawthari goes on to say, وَسَتَعْرِفُ حَالَ الذَّهَبِي فِي أَوَاخِرِ الْكِتَابِ. And you will know what's the situation of al-Dhahabi towards the end of the book. Remember, this is commentary on someone else's book. فَلَا تَلْتَفِتْ إِلَى تَهْوِيلِهِ وَتَحْرِيفِهِ فِي هَذَا الْبَابِ. So do not give any consideration to his fear-mongering and his perversion in this subject. وَإِذَا وَقَعَتِ الرِّوَايَةُ بِالْمَعْنَى مِنْ غَيْرِ فَقِيهٍ فَهُنَاكَ الطَّامَّةِ. And when the narration by meaning comes from someone who is not a scholar, then there is where the devastation is. وَصَاحِبُ الْقِصَّةِ لَمْ يَكُنْ مِنْ فُقَهَاءِ الصَّحَابَةِ. And the person in this story was not one of the scholars of the companions. وَلَا لَهُ سِوَى هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ فِي التَّحْقِيقِ. And he doesn't even have another hadith coming from him. بَلْ كَانَ أَعْرَابِيًّا يَتَكَلَّمُ فِي الصَّلَاةِ. In fact, he was a Bedouin from the outskirts who was talking in the prayer. That's to show you that he was not a scholar, even if he was a companion. We're going all the way back to the person in the story of the hadith. He himself in the story of the hadith was someone talking in the prayer, so he wasn't someone knowledgeable.